sort of thought I would focus a bit on the time that my life turned around, the time I decided that I had hit my bottom and that I was going to come back home to my mom's. So I had been out doing normal shoplifting um, and trading what I shoplifted for some drugs. And when I went to do that, the fellow that I gave the stuff to didn't come back out, and I knocked on the door, and he said, well, I don't have anything now, you have to wait. And I said, well, then give me my stuff back, because I'm going to go somewhere else. And so he threw it out the door, went back in, and shot a gun through all of my stuff. And I thought, I could have been at the other end of that gun being shot. So I went first, traded for drugs, got high, then I phoned my mom and asked her if I could come home. And the very next day, my sister Susan, who is here, and her son Sean showed up in Oliver to move me back home, which I was so grateful for. I, again, felt loved and received. So then the shoplifting part of things was probably one of the things that started when I was really young and was the hardest to let go of within my recovery as well, because it went far into recovery to the point where I would go back to a store and take something back that I had stolen so that I wouldn't get into trouble, and I would learn the consequences, and I would also have the fear that they might decide to charge me, but I was happy that they didn't, because I was being honest. And today I do not do that anymore, and I'm very happy about that. But it was definitely one of the hardest things. And coming back home to my mom's, I, not too long after that, decided I was not going to do any more drugs. And so I took everything I owned in the house that was drug related, right down to clean urine in the freezer. And I took it all to my mom, and she's like, well, I don't want this. And so we took it to my drug and alcohol counselor, and he said he used it as a tool to counsel to other people for, I don't know, a few days. And then my brother came back to Kelowna, and so then I ended up starting to use drugs again. And you know, so it wasn't, when I made that decision, that it was easy to just follow right through to recovery. There was definitely relapse back and forth. And coming into Caris was probably, well, I know it was the best decision I made in my life, because then I still had some relapses, but I had hope, and I knew that I mattered, that I was listened to, that I was heard. And that started right from the very first interview with Peter, who is not here today, but he was the head of, and Dena and Anita, and my mom was with me, and they said to her, I think that you should let Charlene answer the questions. And I thought, yes. Yeah, and so, you know, I was going to be heard, and I mattered, and that's definitely, Caris treats every woman like they're an individual, and I love that about them, because we all have our own story, like Diana says, right? And I also came into Esther House, which was the only Christian-based house in Caris, and that really helped for my growth in spirituality, which is a large part of recovery to me. And also, I guess I'm a little bit nervous when I relax here. But within the Dream Project as well, one of my dreams was for going to Nepal, or to just go on a mission trip, actually. But I went to Nepal on a humanitarian trip, and I fundraised for a year and a half to be able to do that. And it was life-changing. And then I sort of stopped going to the class for the Dream Project, and so I was really happy when Diana showed up and had this other offer if there's something to do. And I never knew that I could write my own story, and so it's been a life-changing thing for me for that as well. And also my family too, that they would all have been a part of my writing of the story, and they were inspire me all the time to do things better, and I just, I don't know, and yes, and some of them are here today, and also I want to touch on the shoplifting thing that carried on into there's still times when that, pops into my head. It's like mostly around Christmas time because it's so easy and you don't have enough money and yeah, but I definitely know that I have a lot more to lose today if I was to get caught than I did when I was doing that on a regular basis, and so that helps me to stop me from wanting to do it. And um, I'm hoping that 15 minutes is getting close, but yes, yes, yeah, okay. To expand on what Diana was saying too, besides being a comedian, I like to be an encourager to others, and that's like you're talking about when you met Joanne. What Joanne does affects me, and what Jamie does affects me, and what everybody does, and um, in the same sense, that's where the love and acceptance comes in, which I totally believe in today. Acceptance over judgment, for sure, and also that we're all connected in that way, and I've actually learned too that connection is the opposite of addiction, yeah, which is isolating and everything. And I still come to Karis 3 days a week for class because it's, first of all, it's part of my community, and secondly, I like to be a lifelong learner as well. And one of the things that I've learned in recovery is that I'm actually have an allergy to alcohol and drugs because when I use them, I break out in handcuffs. And so in the gratitude part of things, I would like to express gratitude to my two sisters that are here, as well as the rest of my family, that they've accepted me back. And I would also like to express gratitude to Kim, who helped me to organize in life, and she was my aftercare worker. I've actually used all 8 years of my aftercare, so that's okay. That's what they offer, and that's what I took. And I would also like to thank Alva for all of her prayers and blessings for so many years, and Anita for teaching me love and acceptance and being probably the largest part of my recovery that has changed me and still mentoring and helping me today.